and I got here at 4:30. And I took the risk of knocking the door. It was just too early, but it was worth the wait. I went to a nice diner up there. You know, tonight I have my wife here. And it's really nice. She said she could make it up. She took a train, a subway, and a bus or whatever to get up here. And we've been, you know, she's a little bit younger than me. I'm older, but we're trying to get pregnant. And we've been trying a couple times. Some people can sneeze and get pregnant. They can sneeze on their wife and get pregnant. That hasn't been the case for us. We've had some difficult times. So, of course, we went to a doctor, went to a gynecologist, and he said, you know, you can get pregnant. There's two things in the air. There's two things in the air that can get you pregnant. So what are you talking about? There's two things in the air. He said, sure, there's two things in the air. I go, what two things are you talking about? He goes, legs. All right, I had to start off with that. What I have tonight for you is a story that happened to me, a true story that happened to me last New Year's Day. Just last year when there was a lot of snow. Remember, it snowed all the time, every other day. And what happened is me and my wife here, as if I have another wife. But we went to a jazz club in Harlem. And we took a risk to see what it was like. We thought we'd get out of our element, but it was really cool. We had a great time. We left. And just to start off, I went there sober. I haven't had a drink in 22 years today. Woo! People clap at that, and at the same time they say, shit, I wouldn't do that. Shit, I wouldn't want to do that. And it does suck. I used to love alcohol. I mean, that's one of my problems. I abused it. Couldn't stop, and then finally had to stop completely. But we went to this club. My wife had something to drink. I had nothing. And I was completely sober. Left the club in New York to go to New Jersey, where we live in Edgewater, New Jersey. Got pulled over by a police car. Two cops got out, and they asked me if I've had anything to drink. And I said, no, I had nothing to drink. They said, have you, true story, right? They said, are you sure? I said, listen, I haven't had anything in 22 years. So I'm completely clean. He didn't really acknowledge that. And he had another cop standing next to him. He looked over at my wife, he looked at me, he goes, listen, you just got to go through a sobriety check because we want to just make sure. And I said, fine. He goes, can you say your ABCs? And I said, my ABCs? I guess I could. Now, you know, back in third grade, way back in third grade, I couldn't say my ABCs. My teacher pressured me, the kids laughed, I just couldn't really belt it out. I figured, who needs it, you know? And if you think about it, shit, when you take back your cable box, do they say, what's your phone number and say your ABCs? You know, I mean, you need your social security number, you need an account number here and there, but you don't need your ABC. So I started to do it for him. The cop was still there at the window, and I went, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. He said, hold it. You can say it, but you can't sing it. I said, I can't sing it. Because I'm already paranoid because I can't do it from grade 3. So he said, just say it normal. So I said, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. So I always had trouble after the Q. You know? So, for some reason. So he said, no, you're gonna, I looked at my wife, she goes, you could do it. With her face, she gave me that look. I said, okay, let me try one more time. So I honestly was freaking out, because here I'm sober all these years, sacrificing some fun, and just basically not drinking, and now I'm gonna get busted for something I'm not even doing. And that's really what's going on in my mind. And so, he goes, do it again. And the other officer was giving serious cut looks at each other the whole time. And so I went to do it again, messed up. My wife leaned up, put her fist towards the steering wheel, and pushed my chest, and leaned to the cops, and said he did it wrong twice. The first time he missed 4 times, the second time he missed 3 times. She goes, he's getting a little bit better, but he's still screwing it up. And this is exactly what she said. She said right here. And I go, holy shit, she's with the cops and not with me. She said, but she was acting like she's with me, smiling and acting like she's with me. So the cop says, listen, we need you to do more sobriety check if you could get out of the car. So it's a good thing I got out of the car, because I didn't want to get in a fight with my wife, and so I get out of the car one night. and get out of the car. He asked me to stand in one position and put the right leg up. And in doing that, I was so nervous about maybe going to jail for something I didn't do that I fell over. Then he made me put my left leg up, and I fell over there. And I'm like, I'm really blowing this thing. And when I put my left leg up, I saw behind my car, there were 6 Edgewater police cars there. So now I'm thinking, boy, he must have got on the radio and said, there's a guy here who can't say his ABCs. You know? And I remember back to my 3rd grade teacher. I'm getting flashbacks. She goes, you're going to need this someday. You know? So now now the cop wants me to walk the white line, so I figured they must have closed the highway because everything was open. Walked the white line, I fell off. My wife finds my license, which I couldn't find to begin with. She hands it to the cop, and they let me go. And that's the end of the story. And I talked to some law enforcement officials since then. They told me, you did everything they asked you to do. If you were wasted, you wouldn't have been able to even attempt to do some of that shit. At least I did this stuff, and I got away with it. And anyway, that's my story for today.
Let's keep it going for Dexter Griffin.